I am doing my presentation, my blog, on the topic of understanding multilingual learners for our second submission this week. So, first is the benefits in scaffolding classroom discussion for ELLs and MLLs. And so, I've identified three core areas, and one is in language development. And scaffolding in the classroom can help students acquire new vocabulary, practice their pronunciation, develop fluency, as well as practicing speaking and listening drills. So, through the scaffolding of beginning with more manageable material and then increasing that difficulty as the class progresses, it also helps by providing clear objectives to students, background information for knowledge and vocabulary, which will then help students build confidence in that beginning level before moving on to the new vocabulary and advancing in difficulty. It also encourages content understanding and critical thinking by breaking down the material into manageable chunks. So, again, going from more of the beginner introductory material and building on that throughout the course, it helps students to build on their content understanding. They also have the opportunity to compare and contrast across languages using their home language and then the English language introduced or the other multi language. And they can also connect and evaluate their own progress, the progress of peers. And then, along with peers, there's the cultural awareness and social development aspect. And so, through group participation, peer activities, collaboration, they're able to build friendships, learn about their peers' backgrounds, as well as the instructor's background. And then the instructor can learn all of those things about their students. Next, we have the benefits of using native home language in the classroom. And a great benefit of this is that it facilitates engagement for the students. Using and being comfortable with speaking their home language in the classroom will definitely enhance their confidence and maybe willingness to engage with the material and participate in class. It also enhances cultural understanding for both the students and peers, as well as the instructor. The instructor may learn more about their student by being able to interact with them through some of the personality they have in their home language. I mentioned within the engagement aspect, it reduces some of the anxiety to speaking English, learning English, listening to English, all aspects of English. We also are able to gain students basic literacy knowledge in their home language instead of making assumptions that because of the new language they have a learning disability or lower ability. And then finally, there's the ability to compare the new language with the home language, be it English or another. They may look at tense patterns, the way that plurals are formed, word sounds that are either similar or different in spelling or meaning, and using critical thinking to address some of those differences and similarities across the languages. And finally, there are some best practices for introducing new vocabulary to ELLs and MLLs in the classroom. From the beginning, it's important to pre-teach any vocabulary, give some background information and context for the academic and higher advanced vocabulary, use a lot of repetition drills, utilize visual aids, which will make the material more approachable and understandable for many of those learners. This could be graphs, charts, images, videos, cartoons. There's a lot of different opportunities to build on that, as well as interactive activities. So getting the students to work with the language, peer activities, group participation, individual participation, role play. You want to get them using that language and interacting with the material. And then also important, there's two more groupings. One is differentiated instruction. So making sure that you're working with students and have an awareness for their proficiency levels, making the material appropriate for that, or their background knowledge on the vocabulary and also their learning needs, considering do they need a little more audio visual, are they more kinesthetic, and what do they require. And then finally, make sure it's culturally relevant. So we're not going to teach students vocabulary that is very culturally ingrained, that they may not be familiar with the context, but also trying to use their culture and making it relevant where they have something to connect on, they have an interest, a motivation, which will enhance their overall understanding for the material. And finally, just some resources that I used was both the YouTube video and an article provided for our class.